Hello, my name is Jeremy Boychyn. I'm the Agronomy Research Extension Manager with the Alberta Wheat and Alberta Barley Commissions. Today I'm going to provide a quick breakdown of the nitrogen calculators for the black, dark brown, and brown soil zones. I'll be utilizing the brown soil calculator for today's walkthrough, although each calculator formula is different based on the historical research that it represents. Each calculator functions the same way, so the process I explain today will be the same for all calculators. So before we get going into the calculator, there's some important considerations to keep in mind when using this tool. First is that the calculator is specific to CWRS spring wheat and feed barley. And agronomic risks such as quality and lodging are not accounted for in the calculator. Impacts of actual rainfall in these soil regions are not accounted for. And please note that the tool makes agronomic recommendations, but farmers must adjust these recommendations for their individual farm operations, cash flow, and comfort with risk. The nitrogen calculators are based on ideal fertility of other nutrients like phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. And they all require a strong fertility plan on top of what you're doing with the nitrogen. The net return is indicated for the tool is only for the net returns of the nitrogen fertilizer itself. Other farm cost operations such as equipment, application costs, fuel, and staff costs are not accounted for. The tool should primarily be used to assess the economics of nitrogen fertilizer use based on yield goals, crop price, and nitrogen price. And for more information on how the calculators are made, please review the additional information found on the article page. So I am going to share my screen. So you're going to access this calculator through the Alberta Wheat and Alberta Barley website, so albertawheatbarley.com, and typically what comes up is this option. So we'll select to go into the wheat commission, and then we're going to go to our priorities, agronomy, and then you'll find the nitrogen rate of return calculator here. So as you scroll down, you can see there's a resource list. This provides additional information about how the calculators function, and other links that you can find that relate to the topics. So there's only a few inputs that you need to think about when utilizing this calculator. You're going to select your soil zone. You can see there's brown, dark brown, and black, no gray, as we don't have data from that soil zone. And then you're going to select the crop CWRS, wheat or barley. So we're going to go with brown soil zone. We're going to select CWRS wheat, and then you can select your fertilizer type that you plan on using. We're going to use urea, but you can see there's a variety you can select from. This is only going to change the price that you're working with. It's not going to change the results or the yield expectation. It's only based on, you're only changing the fertilizer type based on the cost of nitrogen. So the cost, let's say this year, we're looking at $1,200 per ton. And you can see the percent N is 46%. So it automatically calculates that the price per unit of N is $1.18. So you can see if we change this to ESN, that price is going to change because there's a lower percentage of nitrogen in ESN. But we're going to change that back to urea. Here you're going to put in your soil test nitrogen. So your nitrates from 0 to 24 inches. If you don't have a test going down that far, the results are not going to be representative of what's going actually going on in your field. So we're going to put 20 pounds in there. That's what we saw from the soil test that we were looking at. And then the next part in here is a little bit counterintuitive, but if you just bear with me, when you see the results of this calculator, when you click calculate at the end here, you're going to see the results based on the fertilizer rates that you're potentially working with and the price of the commodity that you are selling. And we want to see that in specific increments on that table. So for nitrogen, I want the table to change for every 10 pounds of nitrogen. And commodity price, I want to see that change every 50 cents commodity price change. So we'll see those increments on the table. And then we're going to input our crop and soil information. So planned nitrogen application to reach the desired yield goal. So this is actually how much nitrogen you're going to apply to reach the yield goal that you're targeting. So we're going to put down 60 pounds here. And then the price we expect to receive at the elevator, and we're going to do $13 at the elevator. So Now we press calculate. And this gives us the table. You can see the increments on N rate are by 10, and the increments for wheat price is by 50 cents. And then it provides us a column that shows us the bushels per acre increase we receive from applying 60 pounds above and beyond if we only put 0 pounds of nitrogen. So when we apply 60 pounds of nitrogen, we're getting 30 bushels per acre above and beyond if we didn't apply any nitrogen to that field. And then on the table, you'll see there's a few different colors that you can see here. Only green is showing up, but net return in green represents the maximum value you're going to get for that crop based on that price and that nitrogen rate. So you can see based on what we've inputted, we're sitting in the $317.62 range if we're selling at $13 per bushel, and we're putting down 60 pounds of nitrogen. You can see that if we increase that to 80 pounds of nitrogen, we would get 32.8 bushel increase above and beyond 0, and we would be actually in a net return of $331.71. So we're going to go back to that calculator. We're going to change that to 80 pounds, and we're going to calculate, and you can see now we're sitting exactly where we need to be. So you can play with the price that you're going to sell at the elevator. You can play with how much nitrogen you're going to put down to see where is your maximum net return per acre based on the price you accept to receive and the amount of nitrogen you can put down. So this gives you the ability to play with those nitrogen rates, play with those the price you expect to get at the elevator, and use historical data on yield responses to get the most likely highest net return for that crop based on the nitrogen you plan on putting down. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to us, but that's the gist on how to use this calculator.